Hello, this is Dr. Mears, and today we are going to go over the outline document for our Games of Chance probability project. First, I want you to note, please don't write answers on the document that I gave you. Either type the document or you can handwrite it, which is why I left you no space here. Okay, so number one, state your group members' names, and number two, what are the rules for the game? So what I have done here is I decided to type up the outline document, and my husband John and I are partners. Yay! He's not here right now because he's teaching, but just to have a partner. So number two, the rules of the game. So it's $2 to play my game, and the first thing that you have to do is you have to roll a 20-sided die. So this is a 20-sided die. The highest number of sides is 20, and if you've ever seen a 20-sided die, well, never seen, here you have. 1, if you roll a 1 through 9, you lose, and we keep your $2. If you roll a 10 through 20, you win and move on to the next part. So let's roll. Yay, it's a 20. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Pick a color, blue, green, red, or yellow. Then choose a dice from the container. So let's look. I have a container here, little red container, and in the container I have a dice of each color, blue, green, red, and yellow. So what the person does is they choose which one they want to get. So I'm going to say, let's go with green. So I go in, mix them up, green. Ooh, look, I got a green. Wow, this is working out really well, everybody. So if I get a green, if you choose your color, you win $5. So I won $5, and that's it. The game's over. However, let's say that I did. Let's say that I chose a blue. So that means I would lose. So if I lose, I get to go to the third element. Still have a chance to win. So what is the third element if I lost? Well, the third element is to pick whether you would want to be royalty or you would want to be a star. So I have these pieces in my students. I have these pieces in class. So here it has a crown on it, so royal meaning royalty. The other side has a star on it, meaning being a star. So the person chooses, and then we flip the coin. So I would probably want to be a star, I'm thinking. Royalty is really, I'm sure it's really hard. I'm sure both are very difficult. All right, so let's flip the coin. It's a star. I won. That's pretty cool. So if I win $3. If not, I lost the game, and that's it. So those are the rules of the game. Hopefully, yeah, understood that. And I actually, I'm titling it, The Choice is Yours. That's going to be my title. So I'm excited about that. All right, number 3, what do we have to do? List all the outcomes of your game and the associated prize amount for each outcome. Use a tree diagram. So this is where the rules really help. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my first element. So in my first element, it was to roll a 20-sided die. So here I am, yay, and I'm given my $2. And I'm going to either do two things. I'm either going to win or I'm going to lose. W for win and L for loss. And I'm going to be rolling a dice. Roll a die. Okay, so what do I have to do? 1 through 9, I lose. So that means there's 9 numbers out of 20 where I will lose. How many sides are left? 11 out of 20 are left. All right, well, if I lose my $2. So let's put -2 there. All right, what's my second element? If I win, I get to go on to pick a color that I chose. So here we go. Here's the pick a color. All right, so if I win or I lose, okay. So if I pick a color and I actually get my color, then I'm going to win. So how many colors are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a 1 out of 4 chance that I'm going to actually win. There's 3 other dice out of 4 where I can lose. All right, what's next? Because this doesn't stop here. One thing, if I win, I get $5. I'm just going to put that on there. All right, so that's what I mean by prize amounts and the outcomes. I'm also doing the probabilities too because we're going to be making a table. All right, so if I lose, I get to go on to my third element, and that's going to be to flip a coin. And it's win or lose. So I win if I actually flipped my side. So there's 1 out of 2 sides where I can win and 1 out of 2 sides where I can lose. And if I win, I believe I get $3. And if I lose, I still lose my $2. And there's my tree diagram. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and put the probabilities, not the probabilities, I'm going to change all of the fractions to decimals because I am going to actually have to do a table. So I'm going to take this 11, clear, 11, I'm just going to press the division sign and I'm going to divide by 20 and I'm just going to put 0.55 in parentheses here. And I'm going to do the same thing for 9 divided by 20 and I'm going to put 0.45. Here, 1 divided by 4, I know that's 0.25, and 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. Here, 1/2 is 0.5, and 1/2 is 0.5. So I'm just changing those to decimals. It's going to be easier to actually go through and make a table, which is what we're going to do next. So next what we have to do is make a table to represent the following. 1, each outcome. 2, the probability of each prize amount as a decimal. 3, each win or loss amount. Then we have to describe the table. Okay, so down here I have my probability table. And this is how I set it up. Outcome, probability, and prize amount. And then I'm going to follow my pathways. And I'm actually going to get another colored pen to do this. Okay. So the first outcome I could win is rolling a dice and then picking a color and getting that color that I've chose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 0.55 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.25. So I'm going to take actually, you know what? I'm going to do it on my tree diagram. So to win here, I'm going to do 0.55 times 0.25. Calculator, 0.55 times 0.25. And I'm going to get 0.1375. So this equals 0.1375. So I'm going to write that in, 0.1375. Okay, and how much am I going to get? I wrote it, $5. All right, what's the next pathway that I can actually win? All right, let's see the next one. I need another color here. Okay, so I can do dice, roll the dice and win, get my color, and then flip the coin. So I can roll the dice, then I lose the color, I don't get the color, but I do win with the flip of the coin. So that's what I mean by dice, color, coin. That's just the pathway. So I'm going rolling the dice, picking the color, flipping the coin. And so what we have to do is we have to take these 3 probabilities, 0.55, 0.75, and 0.5 and multiply them together. So let's do that in my calculator. 0.55, 0.75, and 0.5. I'm going to get 0.2063. I'm just going to round to that 4th decimal. I actually got 0.20625 and I just rounded to 0.3. I'm sorry, I just rounded this to 3 here. Okay, so let's put that in here. So dice, color, coin, 0.2063, and I would win $3. Okay, let's do another pathway. All right, the other pathway is I can just lose. Well, that's just this pathway right here is my lose pathway. That's 9 out of 20, which is 0.45, and I lose $2. So we have to put a -2 because I lose $2. Okay, and what's my next pathway here, or my last one? It's if I roll the dice, then I lose the color, don't get the color, and then I lose the coin flip. So I'm on this pathway right here. So dice, color, lose the coin flip. And so what we have to do is multiply 0.55. That's why I started. Lose 0.75. Lose 0.5. And let's see what that's going to be. In my calculator, 0.55, 0.75, and 0.5. 0.2065. Nope, 0.2063. Sorry, 0.2063. And I'm just making sure that I'm doing this correctly. Let's check our numbers. So we have 0.55 times 0.25, and that's going to give us 0.1375. And then I'm going to have 0.55 times 0.75 times 0.5. Yep. And then same thing here. Perfect. Okay. Oh, how much do I lose? I lose $2. Okay. So now that I have that, we have to describe our table. So you could do this a couple different ways. You could say, the highest probability here is that I lost, that my highest probability, I have a 45% chance, because remember, if we multiply this by 100, you can change it into percent, 45% chance I'm going to lose $2. Or you can say, the probability of winning and losing are going to be the same with a dice color and a coin. You can do that as well. So there's a couple different ways to describe it, but don't forget you are going to describe this table. And I'm not going to write mine down, my description, because my description is going to be different, would be different than yours. So noticing, the highest probability or noticing similar probabilities, that's the way that you're going to want to go. All right, what do we have to do next? All right, so we made a table. Number 5, use a table to create a bar graph that shows the probability of each outcome. Explain the bar graph. And that's probably going to be very similar to your explanation of the table. So if you want to do that in the same step, if you want to do your explanation in the same step, that's fine. All right, so I titled this, The Choice is Yours. Probability goes on the y-axis. I started with 0.1 and I went 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.9, 1.0. And then I just did my outcomes. Win, lose, lose. If you want to write in how I won, that's absolutely fine. And then down here is the outcome. And so all I did was I transferred this table. So for my first win here with dice and color, and if you wanted to write like D and C, that's absolutely fine, just so that you know how. So this is D, C, C, this is just dice, and this is dice, coin, coin, color, coin. So you can do that as well. I just abbreviated. So the first win is 0.375, so I just went a little bit above 0.1. Even rounding that to 0.14 is fine, so it's almost halfway, and then I colored it in. Then my next bar is going to be at, oh, look at that, I did that incorrectly. Let's go, we have to go up to 0.2, so we go up to 0.2, a little bit over 0.2, and then we shade that in, caught my own little mistake, and then did I flip these? I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here, but I'm not going to remake it because I do have this amazing gel pen. Just a little plug for those, the friction gel pens here. Okay. All right, my next lose is 0.45. Good thing I messed up because I get to show you how I went up to all the way up to 0.4 and then in the middle to 0.5. So right in the middle of 0.4 and 0.5. Okay. And then my lose here, again, up a little bit up to 0.2. And colored in. Now my bar graph is correct with the choice is yours. You can borrow this graph paper. It's just 1 centimeter graph paper. If you do want to do it on Google Forms, Google Sheets, my bad, Google Sheets, you can. Absolutely. And now I say to explain it. Again, if you want to explain the table and the graph at the same time, that's fine because you're going to still see. Now you can visually see that the losing with the dice has the highest probability. The lowest probability is winning with the dice and picking a color. So, you want to explain highest probability and, how the outcome, lowest probability, again, and how that would happen, the outcome. That's basically how you're going to describe it. Okay, it doesn't have to be a long explanation, just I want to know that you understand what you're looking at and how you read your graph and how you read your table. Okay, let's see what is next. All right. Next, calculate and interpret the expected value. The expected value is the average amount of money a person will win if they play your game many times. Write a complete sentence explaining the expected value in context of your game. So I will do that with you. Here's we have the expected value. What we're going to do is take the probability of each outcome and multiply it by its prize amount and add them up. So let's go and do that. So 5, see bar graph, we just did that. 6, expected value. We're going to take each probability, multiply it by its prize amount, there's my lights, and then add them up. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Each probability, point, so I'm going to write EV for expected value. I'm going to take 0.1375, multiply it by multiply it by its prize amount, 5. I'm going to add to the next probability, 0.2063. Multiply it by its prize amount, 3. Add that. The next one, 0.45 times. Be careful here because this is a negative, -2. It's okay. That just means that we're losing money. Plus the last probability, 0.2063, and times its prize amount, -2. Okay, you could do this all in one line in your calculator, everybody. You just got to be careful. Or you could do step by step here and write those decimals down. I'm actually just going to show you that I can put it in, whoops, not like that, 0.137. I can put it all in, being careful that I'm putting it in correctly. So I might stop talking for a sec. Okay, so I have -2 times 0.2063 plus -2 times 0.45. I'm going backwards because I'm just scrolling over for the calculator. Plus 3 times 0.2063 plus 0.1375 times 5. Enter. 0.1558. 0.1558. So let's round this as if it's money. We're going to be rounding to the nearest hundredth because it's money. So the 5 is greater than, if it's 5 and greater, I'm going to round this to 16 cents. Now, if you got a positive value, that means you're going to make money in the long run. It's okay if you have a negative value. That just means you're going to lose money. And I'm talking about when playing my game. So if somebody played my game many times, they played my game many times, the person is going to average an amount of making about 16 cents on my game. So let's write that in a complete sentence. The expected value that a person would make if they played our game, because I'm a partner, many, and we're talking about in the long run, times is 16 cents. Wow, huh? Oh my goodness. Okay, and the very last thing that we have to do. Number 7, if a person plays our games 50 times, how much money will they expect to win? Does this person lose money or make money? Okay, so what we're going to do to find that is we're going to take our expected value, 0.1558. I like using the whole entire decimal here. Multiply it by the number of times. Oops, sorry. Sorry, I didn't scroll down. Let's start over. Number 7, I'm going to take the expected value. I like using all of the decimals, 0.1558. Multiply it by how many times they're playing. I gave you the number, 50. So on times 50, 7.7. No, that's not bad. If it's positive, then they're going to make money. If it's negative, they lose money. So they are expected to win 7.79. They make money. They make money because that number is positive. Just like I said here, positive means you make, negative means you lose. So there we go. We learned expected value. We learned what we expect to make if we play it a certain number of times. We went over our nice bar graph that I actually had to fix up a little bit. We made a probability. This is actually a probability distribution table and a tree diagram. So this is the heart of your report. So make sure you lay it out nice and neat, whether you type it like I did here or whether you hand wrote it. Hopefully this helps. Make sure you ask me questions in class. Thanks.